This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 805. I am Brian Kilby. With me this week, we have Don.
Hello.
Hello, Don. And we have Rob.
Hi.
Hey, Rob. And Diecast.
How do you know I'm here? The stack of Hasbro orders that have been coming into my house are slowly taking over.
Yeah, so I'm mentioning that. I've talked about what a pain it's been with all the pre-orders coming in. A friend of ours messaged me today, remaining not anonymous, said in the last month, they've received from Hasbro $1,500 in pre-orders.
Man.
I had money set aside to buy a certain thing, and I checked the account where I have that, and it was depleted. Yeah, I mean, $1,500. No, I mean, I don't know how much I've spent in the last month. I haven't tracked it, but it's been a lot and it's been painful. So,
Well, that's kind of thing that's hitting everybody across the board. That's the whole point. Is when you go to pre-order something, you know it's always going to be late. You generally assume it won't be out on time, so you've got time to budget the stuff. But now we got stuff shipping 3 months early. How do you budget for that?
yeah, it's a challenge. So,
I gotta say, more and more, I'm appreciating that Premium Bandai charges you in advance.
so that's the thing. I used to be very much against charging in advance, but now, man, that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's the only way to keep track of your money is to basically not have it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, see, the only thing I don't like about that is when they release like 50 things in one day. That's painful.
It's painful in general. It's becoming very expensive. So,
But
yeah.
normally things, hit throughout the year, so they kind of space themselves out. It's
been a weird month.
Yeah, lately everything has been hitting within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I went in and canceled a bunch of my pre-orders, and I just decided that rarely does something come out where I can't order it later. So I canceled almost everything. But then it comes out and I order it and it hits me at the same time whether I pre-ordered it or not. So painful.
I canceled my Armada Starscream. I saw a video on that. And it's like, no, what really? That's it.
Yeah.
It's basically a shrunk down original Starscream, no gimmick, for $35. It's so accurate, it's boring.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll get it eventually. And I'll have an opinion on it then. I don't really care what other people think because I don't watch reviews. So that's not like I don't base my buying decisions like that on other people.
No, I mean, for me, it was like, this is Armada Starscream. I have the original toy. It's one of those, I don't really ever want this toy again. I've got it because it is a decent looking figure. But when I watched the video, it wasn't the person's opinion. It was basically, the person was speaking non-English, so I just basically muted it because there was no subtitles. So I was just watching the transformation, and it's like, this does absolutely nothing unique, interesting. It's as slavish to the original toy to the point where it's a shrink dink in reverse.
Well, I mean, what do you expect?
I mean, but with the legacy stuff, you get these little twists and turns and little things that make a nice update of the character. Armada Starscream has nothing interesting
when
about it.
When it comes to vintage G1 toys, when you get it like a Generations version of it, typically you're getting an upgrade because there's better posability, et cetera, et cetera. When you get to something that's more modern and you get a Generations version of it, it's typically a downgrade. So
I'll be honest, I prefer the Thrilling 30 because at least it did something. It wasn't a perfect homage, but at least it was more interesting in that mold, then if Legacy Starscream goes on clearance, I'll probably pick it up just because, hey, it's cheap, why not? But I think I enjoy the Thrilling 30 more, and I've not picked that up in years.
Cool. Okay. So, segue. When toys like that come out, people don't like them. Oftentimes, they'll sit on the shelf in shelf form.
Mhm.
And, when collectors don't want something, that means that the retailer doesn't put new product out on the shelf. And that's bad for collectors. So here's a win-win proposition. Kids don't care. Kids love that stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not it has the exact articulation that you want, or it doesn't do enough different from a toy that came out 20 years ago. It'll just make a kid's day if they get it. And this holiday season, and every holiday season, there are kids out there who are extremely poor and not in this situation to where they might get something for the holidays, whether that's Christmas, Hanukkah, etc. So each year we, encourage you to participate in Elf on a Shelf Warmer, where you can help out a kid in need and clear out the toy shelves and toy aisles of unwanted shelf warming toys. If you do that, take a picture, post it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Hashtag Elf on a Shelf Warmer. We'll reshare it. And it's a way to brighten the life of a kid and also, hopefully get Wave 3 of Legacy out on the shelf, or, new Star Wars Black Series or Marvel Legends or whatever you happen to do. And, frankly, we want to get toys out in the hands of kids. And oftentimes in doing this, the younger kids aren't represented. So when you're buying, those clearance, He-Mans from Masterverse, maybe pick up a Fisher-Price toy too and just drop it in a drop box. That'd be awesome. If you don't want to go and pick something up and drop it in a drop box, you can go to tfradio.net/elf, and that'll take you to our wish list where we basically post toys that are inexpensive, quality but inexpensive. And if you buy that, it'll come to me, and I'll donate it for you. We derive no referral fees or anything for that. We prefer that you drop off a toy yourself, but if you don't have the option, you just don't want to, you don't want to take the time or energy, go to tfradio.net/elf. It'll take you to Amazon. You buy it. It'll come to me, and I'll share it. Actually, got a couple things like in the last couple days. We got another from an anonymous donor. We got another one of the G.I. Joe roleplay toys, and we also got a Rescue Bots toy. So thank you very much. That'll get donated here soon. The Toys for Tots boxes have popped up locally, so, and I've seen where people have been started dropping stuff off. So that's awesome. I think they stop pickup maybe like a week or so before Christmas. If you can, ideally try to do it by the 1st of the month, the 1st of December. That way you just ensure that whatever you get winds up in a child's hands. So cool. Oh man, let's jump into like normal show content. As of 8:30 p.m., Deathsaurus on HasLab is up to $89.95 of, what is that, 12 or 11? It's 11, right?
It might be 12.
I'll tell you for sure.
I think so. I think 11 is the base goal
Of 11,000. So we're just at 2,000 away. Looks like
Nice.
Foreign pre-orders have started to be added to that total. And there are 26 days left. So this is going to fund. The question is, how many and what stretch goals will we hit? So, any thoughts?
Well, we talked about this last week, Brian. If Hasbro will work with Takara and get good subtitled versions of Victory up on the Hasbro channel to get people to see this character in action.
Then
That could help.
do the dub. We need to see Desandris.
No, I'm being serious, Brian.
I'm being serious too.
Yeah.
I want the Malaysian dub.
Yeah, Desandris. That's I want it. Yeah. Sorry, Don.
I'm just saying, with it being 28 days, basically there's about a month left, almost a month. They could, depending on the rights and stuff, put like the first 2 episodes up, put the first 3 episodes up, just something to get people, hey, what is this? This is interesting. Oh, this is that character. But that's.
So do we think that there are people who are going to buy this who have no idea who the character is? Do you think that would actually entice somebody to buy it?
Well, I would like to see it from a standpoint of Hasbro having more synergy, no pun intended, with the toys that they're selling and their fan base, and trying to reach outside that. Because there are a lot of Transformer fans who still to this day don't have a lot of exposure to the Japanese continuity. They may know about it, and they may know these are characters from Japan, but without the media, without watching the show, because we all saw Victory after it already aired. So
I don't like Victory. It's my least favorite of the 3.
It is, but I'm just saying that if Hasbro they got to start somewhere by having a toy like this and having some matching media. It's sort of like BotCon. I know we've talked about this before about how y'all don't need the fiction for the toys to be fine or like that. But those characters only have that one shot of existence, and you need that fiction. Victory Saber might be better known than a BotCon figure, but he's still a wild unknown to a lot of fans.
So Jay in our chat is pointing out, and this is something I should have mentioned, Desandris was an IDW. So it's not like people don't know.
And also the Transformers manga was released here in English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, Hasbro is a multimedia property. They have media with their Takara partnership that is for this toy.
Hasbro owns it. Hasbro owns that video. They can publish it here.
Right. I'm just saying there needs to be a better synergy of toys being released of this nature, and if there is accompanying media being wrapped in with it. So that way...
Back to DVD sets. So you include the DVD with the toy, just like with Universe. Or like, everything else that came out.
I'd be fine with that, honestly.
But I'm just saying...
Or a VHS strap to it, like Masters of the Universe did.
Yeah. No, but
Or that
I'm
one
just...
Beast Wars set, yeah.
I just think that they're missing an opportunity, not just right now, but for a lot of these projects down the road. If there is media to go with it, tie it together to get people who know, okay, I know Star Saber's from Japan. That's all you know. Here he is battling giant space chicken. Oh, that's cool. I want to get both.
Yeah, cool. Hopefully they will. That means we have about 18,000 more left to sell.
Can I get a deluxe with a free CD of Victory?
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, CD. Let's do VCDs. That's the perfect way to do that.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, with the Omnidub, that would be the perfect way.
It would be. You're right.
That's how I got Robots in Disguise 2001 originally, was on VCD.
Yeah. I actually had an image of the Australian DVDs. It was a dual layer disc image. I lost it in a hard drive failure. Yeah.
Always a shame.
Yeah, it's always a shame. Okay. Let's see here. So we're going to do a quick spoiler-free chat, very quick, because we're not going into spoilers and I'm not finished yet. But Dawn did finish the first, 10?
Yeah.
Episodes of EarthSpark. And I watched half of it. And generally speaking, the thing that I will say about it, it is exceedingly well made. It is a top-tier animated property. But it's something that you will need to keep in mind when you're watching it, especially early on. It is directly geared at kids. It is a kids show. It's not a kids show in the sense that it insults your intelligence, but it is presented almost entirely as a show about kids who live in a world with Transformers more than a show about Transformers.
The Transformers are not taking a back seat, as a lot of people would probably think. There's a very good balance between the human side of the family and then the Transformers as well. But there are the tropes, the lessons, learning about, some of them is very subtle, some's a little on the nose. But again, you'll see this is a kids show trope in here, but it's also very well done.
It's very well done. So the thing I like to point out is, for the most part, and again, I'm only halfway through it, but I didn't want to go into spoilers anyway. If you're watching the show, it's got humans and Transformers interacting, or kids in the Transformers. When they part ways, it follows the kids. So, again, it's a show about the kids in a world with Transformers, and that's okay.
Also, the fact is, a couple of things I do like. The kids and the adults in this show are not but stupid, like in
I
a
don't
lot.
know the dad. I think the dad's kind of
Well,
dumb.
okay. I mean, as far as I'm comparing it to the low bar of Robots in Disguise 2015. The humans and the adults outside of the two main ones were absolutely butt ugly stupid. And at least most all the humans in EarthSpark have a sense of believability, other than that one ghost agent who's an absolute character of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the kids are not annoying. The kids feel
They're not.
The kids feel like real kids.
The dad is sometimes annoying, but I think he's my favorite character.
Yeah. Well, I think there's more to Dad and we're going to find that out later on because of what happens later on in those 10 episodes. I like the animation is very fluid. It works better than I thought it might. And there's a couple of fight scenes. I'm just going to say, Brian, you may know the Megatron versus the Seekers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's some absolutely excellently choreographed and created fight scenes. The only knock I'm going to give against it, and this is just me personally, the animation is very smooth, it's very fluid. It also feels, with the humans, it feels kind of weightless. Like it's just this. I can't really do. I mean, when the robots are on the screen, they look and move and feel like Transformers. But when it's just the humans on the screen, I don't know. It's a lightness that
lightness in the
off.
sense of like they lack it's like they lack mass.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me of early Beast Wars when they're walking, but it also looks like they're kind of not quite walking. It's just
they're gliding above the ground.
Not as bad, but kind of. It's just there's something about when the humans are by themselves. There's no weight to them.
What I love about this, Don, that's your complaint. That is an incredibly minor.
Exactly, it is, but
complaint.
it totally is. I mean, I'm saying, and that's not me trying to find something. That's just saying it jumps out at me, and that's something I noticed.
So
watching
visually, my favorite part of it is like the explosion effects are like flat, cell shaded type effects.
Love that mix. I love that
looks
mix.
Great. So in our chat, Blade said that humans get more focus early on and Transformers more in the end. I totally recognize that. But if you're like watching halfway through, if you're a skeptic, skeptical of it going in, you do need to know that it is definitely a kid's show. And that is, again, it's not because they insult your intelligence, it's because they cover things that, interact, dealing with people, all the educational bits.
Sneaking out at night,
Yeah.
trusting strangers,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, the show is solid all the way around, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So go ahead.
I was not expecting them to do what they did in later episodes in a F7 series kind of show with some of the battle scenes and stuff like that.
If the War for Cybertron Netflix series left a bad taste in your mouth, like it did me and anybody who watched it, this is definitely probably more your speed. It's I don't want to say like you like watching the War for Cybertron stuff, it got progressively better, but oftentimes it felt amateurish. Like from the writing to sometimes the voice acting. This in no way feels amateurish. It feels like a big TV level production.
All right, and Brian, that's one thing about the voice, about the voice acting. All the voice acting, I think, is top notch as far as the direction and everything else. But the voices themselves, some of them don't quite match to me.
Match what?
Optimus.
You saying Alan Tudyk doesn't sound like Peter Cullen?
No.
Which I was going to say good.
No, that's good. That's good. It's just, I don't know. It's just some of the. I think it's going to be basically me getting used to these new style of voices. I don't want everybody. I got a discussion on Twitter about this a few weeks ago about how much different someone playing Optimus can make Optimus and still be Optimus.
It's a different character. It's a different character of show. The overall character of the show is different. I think, Don, I'm pretty sure I saw what you're talking about. You're talking about Neil Kaplan doing Optimus Prime and Robots in Disguise. Compare Robots in Disguise to Beast Machines. Night and day different. But they both had a fantastic voice cast, but they had an overall different character to the show.
Right, that's very true. And I don't mean anything, but I like all the voices. I like RC. I like Alita 1. Megatron laughing and smiling is very weird, but it seems natural on this Megatron.
Yeah. Man, I want to talk. So I will say this. So if you saw the footage or photos of quote unquote G1, the G1 that from when you were a kid, or your parents were a kid at this point, from 1984, 1985, and you wonder how all this works with the show, it makes sense. Not going to go into how, but fear not. It doesn't. This does nothing. It's very respectful to the source material, but it does something different. And, so, yeah.
I mean, it's a solid performing show. There's a lot of action, especially later on. So it's definitely worth. Don't write it off before you watch. That's one thing that's always really pissed me off. Is people that see a preview or a clip or something, and they judge the entire show based on that clip.
People have hated Beast Wars for going on 30 years
because
they saw 30 seconds of it.
I know, and that's what I'm saying is that has bugged me. I'm the oldest person here. That has been one of my biggest across all my fandoms. That is the biggest thing. Is like, we're doing something new. Here's a teaser. Oh my gosh, it's terrible because of XYZ. So if you don't think you're gonna like it, watch it first and then make an educated call. Don't write it off because you could be missing one of the best shows we've gotten in a long time.
I think it might be the best made show that we've gotten, at least as far as it. it may be the best made show that we've gotten so far. And I say that as somebody who absolutely loves Beast Wars. Cool. Okay. I think we're good. I don't think there's a whole lot left to say without getting to spoiler territory, and I don't honestly want to talk about spoilers. Victory Saber is shipping soon. We mentioned this last week about how no one had received their "make sure your address is up to date" email. Well, like the next day, "make sure your address is up to date" came through. And so hopefully in the next few weeks, that'll be coming. We'll be getting that. So just in time for the HasLab to end.
I believe it said you have until the 28th to make sure your address is right.
Cool.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I think that's what it said.
Hopefully this will be more smooth than the Unicron shipments.
Hopefully so.
Hey, actually, speaking of HasLab's ending, I forgot to mention HeroScape failed to fund.
Womp womp.
Yeah,
That's kind of a shame, but HeroScape has always kind of been hampered by I feel like the amount of plastic that it takes. It's a really neat idea, and it's just too expensive to do on the kind of scale you'd need to make anything really good with it.
yeah. Also, I'm looking at the show notes, and Chris pointed out, he's not here. He pointed out that he liked EarthSpark for what he's watched so far.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of show notes, I'm looking here at a story that popped up earlier this week or over the weekend. Someone on YouTube who claims to have insider knowledge of an unreleased Transformers MMO called Transformers Rise, shared information, including video from the game online. And I got to see the video. It was not gameplay video. It was like a cutscene. So it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, happens with that. When I was looking at it this weekend, there's speculation as to whether the game was unreleased and unfinished, or if it was finished. The fact, it looks like it's probably not going to, based on what I'm reading here. I haven't looked at it anymore over the week. It says, let me actually just read this directly from my favorite Transformers website, Game Rant. In regard to Transformers Rise, the new leak seems to come from content creator RoboGamer1HD, who posted the alleged information on his YouTube channel before making its way to the Transformers Online subreddit. Robo claims the game is not only still in development, but Certain Affinity has already completed the game and is marketing materials ready to release, while Hasbro is likely to serve as the game's publisher. Okay, so maybe it is going to get released. So that would maybe make sense as to why it was pulled down immediately.
Yeah.
And like there were strikes left and right whenever it popped up. I ended up watching it on a Spanish language, or actually a Portuguese language YouTube Twitter profile that had posted a translated version of it. So
Okay.
So that'll be interesting. It hopefully it'll be fun. I haven't had a lot of luck with Transformers games as of late. I don't think I would play an MMO. But for those of you who are interested in that, we'll see. This is all speculation. It's untelling whether or not this person actually has insider information, or if he just came across the footage somehow and shared it. Who knows? But we'll follow the story as it develops. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't see this on Autobase IHE. Chris has linked us to photos from Deluxe Needlenose that came from a YouTube review. So let me bring that up.
It's probably what you thought it was going to be.
I mean, I thought it was going to be awesome. I didn't care about like all the complaints.
Well, the reviewer actually thought it was pretty awesome too. So, not that you care about that, but
I mean, I think it was fine. I think it was perfectly good. Like, what was this YouTube reviewer's insights?
Just said it was a pretty well done figure for the price point, especially coming with the 2 little target masters. Good posability, that sort of thing.
So I'm looking at the sample that the person had. Other than it looks like a fleck of paint missing off the faceplate at the bottom of the chin area. That face looks awesome.
Yeah, could have used more yellow, but that's always the case with yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of the fairly, simple transformation in jet mode, that's really not out of line with what the double target masters were like originally.
Yeah, totally. I've always liked Needlenose, so
It looks good.
yeah, it looks good. Needlenose was one of the first G1 toys that I repaired, quote unquote. I just added some paint. But usually typically
You said repaired. I thought you meant broke.
No.
It's the first one you repaired because you broke it.
No, I got a loose one, and there was the canopy had some paint damage, so I painted it and it looks fine. I ended up getting the double target master sword, I think. So now I have years later have a nice complete Needlenose. Okay. What else? Oh, I saw this. Rob Springer originally shared this. I mean, I don't know if he was the source, but he shared it. He was the first one I saw share it on Twitter. This is Malaysia? McDonald's Malaysia potato head Happy Meal. So there are 2 different themes with this. There is My Little Pony and Transformers. So you have a Megatron, an Optimus, a Bumblebee, and a Grimlock. And I want them.
Yeah, I like them for what they are. Grimlock's the only one that feels a little bit off to me, but that's just because he's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And to see a potato head on a dinosaur kind of. But yeah, the other ones are cool.
Very nice. Did they never use the name Optimash Prime?
I don't think they have.
Oh man, it's great. That's a great pun. That's a Don level pun.
Yeah. Well, who was responsible for all those names at Hasbro.
Yeah.
He'll remain anonymous.
He'll remain anonymous.
Anonymous, yes.
Let's see. They've been out since November 1st, and it looks like they are staggering the releases of them. I may have to check and see if I can get a hold of some of those on eBay. A while back, we discussed how, in July, Segway had announced a Transformers collaboration, and nobody noticed. And this is something that, again, nobody I don't think has noticed, because this is the first time seeing of it. Chris had put it in the show notes. The Megatron Segway. Diecast, you just got a Corvette. Do you want a Segway too?
I ordered 2. They're only $4,000 each.
Only.
You didn't buy one, really, did you?
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, that's about the price of a Segway, so it's not like I would be shocked by that.
Well, but it's a scooter. It's not like the full Segway. It's not like the traditional.
Oh,
Segway.
yeah, you're right. It's not a Segway. It's a scooter.
Yeah, it's a
same
scooter.
same technology, I guess. Maybe not. I'm not qualified to make that statement.
How much is the traditional Segway?
I thought it was about $4,000, but that was like 1990s money or whenever it was announced. Up to 55 miles. Oh, max range. I thought that was miles per hour. Dude, it'll go up to 43 miles an hour.
Will it?
Yeah.
Oh, that might be worth it then. That's pretty fast.
That is pretty fast.
I had no idea they were that fast. Most of those scooters can only do like 15 roughly miles.
That's closer to like a Vespa.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
I think
pretty
you need it.
fast.
It could go. Does your Corvette have a back seat?
No.
So I don't. This wouldn't fit in the passenger seat. So
It would fit in the trunk though.
you have a trunk in that? Really?
Oh yeah.
You really do? Okay.
Yeah. I have two of them. I have a frunk and a trunk.
Where's the engine?
It's behind the driver's seat.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah.
okay.
So I because I have the convertible, I have a full trunk in the back. Well, full as it's probably about that wide. But that would be enough to fit a Segway in, or at least this scooter Segway.
Yeah, well, you need to get it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I say that as I check out Mandarake. I haven't checked it out today, so give me a second.
I've been on Taobao making sure all my FansToys pre-orders are up to date.
Okay, I'm good. Hey, is that it for sure? Is that for news? Yeah. Okay, that's it. Let's jump to what we got this week. Who got something?
Cool. I got a lot of stuff.
Then go ahead.
All right. Speaking of FansToys, which is one of the reasons I want to make sure all my pre-orders were up to date, I got Phantasm, I guess is his name. I still think Sphinx is the best name for a third party for Mirage, but
Why?
he
What is it that I'm
awesome.
missing about the name Sphinx?
Sphinx, just because of the head.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay. I always think of it as like a name, a pun for the name of the real toy, or for
Yeah.
like the gimmick. But the head, it never even clicked.
Yeah. So I really like him. He's
It's nicer
everything
than
I
Sphinx,
would
I
ex-
imagine, right?
yeah, it's more cartoon, and it's fully painted, and it's just really nice. I haven't transformed it yet, because I'm almost scared to. I just don't want to damage anything. It looks so nice. Maybe I will. I just haven't.
How
it's
much?
not one of those-
What's the retail on that?
US I think is 160.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
That's so much for a toy that size.
yeah, but he's nice. I also got Rumble, and he is a lot smaller than I thought he was going to be. I don't have any of the other cassettes laying around to like size him up with a previous cassette. He just felt like, I don't know if it was the box or whatever, but when you see him in the window box and he's so tiny in the box, it's crazy. But he's really nice. I like him. Let's see. Now for the pile. I got Dead End from Amazon. I got Hot Rod, which is the Studio Series 93. Yeah, Hot Rod. Obviously, he is from The Last Night. That's why I'm doing
Yep.
doing the voice. I got Pointblank.
Jealous.
Nice.
Did not come out of the box yet. I got Skullgrin playing peekaboo. Because he covers his eyes with the horns, and they're actually rubber banded that way in package.
That's interesting.
I got the womp womp that Don was talking about. I got Armada Starscream. So I this is actually one I wish I passed on. But
What was the last generation's toy that you passed on? Exactly.
yeah. I got Shattered Glass Soundwave.
Apparently, I got that recently and didn't even know it. It's in my pile over there.
Yeah. I love the colors on him.
Me too.
He's great. And because I was in Target getting some household items, I fell on the Fallen. He was on sale. He was only $39.99. So I picked him up for that price because I actually heard they looks pretty decent in his robot mode or whatever you can call that mode. Yeah, the vehicle just looks crazy stupid, but you know, it's the Fallen. He's not the greatest character anyway. And I think that is all I got.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Don, did you get anything?
Yeah, a couple of things. Target had that 25% off any one toy, and I was there the last day. And I just, I don't do much with Star Wars, but I did pick up the Shore Trooper because I like these little one-off. Like,
what is that?
It's from Andor, which I haven't watched and don't plan on it, but it's a reissue of.
It's supposedly very good.
Well, it's the Shore Trooper supposed to. I remember the original version was basically it's on the planets that have like on their beach installations. If they have anything with a beach or a coastline on their installations, that's their they're I guess trained in surf fighting or something. I don't know, but it's a really nice
surf fighting.
Surf fighting. Yeah.
Incidentally, Don, just sorry to interrupt, but if you do want to catch Andor without worrying about Disney Plus, I understand that they're going to be running the first episode or two of it on ABC over the Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
That sounds great. Hopefully someone who cares about Star Wars can watch it and enjoy it.
Don, you just bought
you might
Star
want to see your
Wars
troopers
toy.
surf.
Well, no, I bought it because it's like I've got this thing for these weird one-off. I don't care about stormtroopers or these clone troopers. I like these weird little, like the indoor biker scout. That's my favorite trooper of all, and that gives you some kind of vibes on him.
Gotcha.
When I was at Target, they had restocked the NECA stands, and
Nice.
the black is very hard to get.
I've never even come across a black one.
Yeah. So I went ahead and got the only.
How much
one
was
they
it?
Had. It was on the wrong hook, so they gave it to me for 10. The regular price is $12.99.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But they gave it to me because it was on the wrong hook. So I got those. My other off topic is the best off topic that I've been waiting for a long time. Hopefully, Rob and Chris will appreciate this. Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise.
Ah, nice. Finally got released on Blu-ray.
Yeah. I just need to find my Blu-ray player. It's still boxed up. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite Gundam series. It's not quite eclipsing G, but it's a razor thin close. So I'm really looking forward to digging out the Blu-ray player and hooking it back up. Stop by GameStop. They still got their big clearance on special. I had $5 pro rewards that was expiring. So I got basically Shadow Panther for $3.
Nice.
So I figured I'd go in and pick that up. It was the only Transformer they had in the entire store as well. Also, I got Shatterglass Soundwave. Looking forward to opening up him. And the last thing I finally got it from Walmart.com because local stores just don't have it. I got me the carded Wolfang because I love the toy. I have the original loose one, but I wanted one on card. And K9 should be here soonish.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that was it. Everything else is in transit.
Rob.
Okay. I got. Well, I'll talk about them in the order I opened them. I guess. Back in I think September when Skullgrin briefly showed up as like shipping immediately on Amazon, I put a pre-order in just to see if I got it immediately. I did not, and I forgot about it. Amazon didn't. So it's actually a nice little figure. The alternate mode is just a box. It's got some interesting steps in the transformation, but it's not the most exciting tank you'll ever see. It's rectangular, and you kind of have to use the swords to kind of mask some gaps in the side of the vehicle. I feel like if they reuse this mold as somebody without a giant cattle skull for a head, there's probably going to be a way to transform this without those gaps in the sides, because they'll be able to fit things a little bit closer together. But the kind of meh-ness of the vehicle mode aside, I really like him. He's pretty solid. He's fairly well articulated, and he's got a decent heft to him. He does, there's a decently stocky body to hold up the big ridiculous noggin. And yes, they do rubber band those horns together in the package. They fold in for transformation. So yeah, they just rubber band those in, so there's no chance of them, like, I guess, popping off or snapping off, in the store. But other than the alt mode not being impressive, the only minor complaint I have is the gun sword things are soft plastic, so they can be kind of difficult to get into some of the sockets on the figure. But I guess they were on the runner with the horns. What not much you can do at that point. And they look good, so. But yeah, I was of the three things I got this week, I think that's the one that I was happiest with and had the least issues with in terms of Transformers. Also, Amazon had Elita 1 on sale. Everybody else has probably gotten that already. Not a lot to say. It's a good looking figure. I wish the hips were stronger. And I am like 75% certain that at some point in the creation of the figure, there was a swivel to turn her feet sideways for vehicle mode that did not cost out, because those feet are just hanging out on the back of the vehicle mode being feet, even once you flip them over. They just do not look like they belong to the car at all. But I think if you turn them sideways, they might. So that's just my guess, though. I'd love to know for sure. But yeah, decent figure, but the hip joint's just very floppy on it. So kind of, the QC lottery is always, but I paid a little less than retail. Amazon had like a coupon, so that's fine. And because that put it below the threshold for free, like, next day shipping, I also finally grabbed Studio Series 6 86 RC, which probably is the best take on RC out of like the three versions in this body.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately I got one of the ones where the lower torso doesn't really latch in strongly, so kind of floppy. So yeah, so of the three figures I got, probably Skullgrin was the one I was least like interested in advance, and turned out to be the winner out of the three this week. So
That's funny.
yeah, but yeah, Skullgrin is a decent figure. I like it. In other things, I got a couple more Gundam models. I got the Full Armor Gundam and Psycho Zaku from Gundam Thunderbolt, which have ridiculously massive backpacks, and that should be entertaining to put together at some point. And I also got a couple of games I think are honestly worth noting, since it's going to be a short show anyway.
Sonic Frontiers.
No, actually
Okay.
not yet, but I've actually heard good things. I got the Atari 50 collection.
Oh, I need that.
Which to be honest, I haven't even played any of the games yet. I just went through the museum section, which is like the main menu of the game. And there's some really fascinating stuff in there. It is really neat. And beyond which, the absolute madmen at Digital Eclipse actually went and finished Sword Quest after 40 years.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, so I like, that was what sold me on it right there. What I was thinking about it anyway, but when I heard that, it's like, okay, yeah. And the other thing I got was Tactics Ogre Reborn. That is, for those who don't know, Tactics Ogre is the game that preceded Final Fantasy Tactics. Had most of the same staff, and was on Super Famicom back in 1995. Came out here for the PS1 in 98, I think it was, and a PSP remake in the mid 2010, I want to say, is about when it was. This one is actually a remake of the remake. It has the structure of the PSP version, but the combat system and leveling systems have been totally redone again. So and it also has full voice now in both English and Japanese. So it's really nicely done. I always enjoyed that game, and just it's the best presentation it will probably ever get. So that is on pretty much everything. I got the Steam version because I've been getting Steam versions of things more now that I have a controller I'm really comfortable with. So, but yeah, I'd been waiting for that one and just kind of grabbed it day one because yeah, I was not going to miss that. I think that's Tactics Ogre is I think one of the few video games I ever pre-ordered too back in the PS1 days. So, at least I'm consistent. But that is pretty much everything I got this week.
Cool. I only got a few things. I'm surprised that this was the first use of the mold, but it is Studio Series Laserbeak. Obviously the pink Bumblebee. It's clearly going to be a Bumblebee. I like it. I actually really like the mold. I'm a sucker for this, size toy anyway, especially the nicer ones, the ones that are pretty consistent. It tabs together really well. Joints are nice and tight. It doesn't do anything stupid. And I think it's great. So I'm very pleased with that. Don had mentioned a K9. K9 came today.
Nice.
Yeah. From Pulse. I already have Wolfang, so now K9 to go with it. I wonder if these bubbles are going to yellow like Beast Wars bubbles do. I'm hoping they don't. If you look at it, it's nice and crystal clear. It's so
You
shiny.
can't even get the toys not the yellow. I don't know about the package.
I know, right? A couple weeks ago, I got that Beast Wars CD set. The purple Megatron and red Convo Bat.
Ah, yeah.
It's randomness is clumpy. Happened across a loose Convo Bat.
Oh, nice.
So I wasn't going to open it, but this was a nice price, and he's so pretty. It's so nice. So if I ever happen across a Megatron, the odds are low. I'll pick it up, but yeah, got that. Last thing was shipped to me by Hasbro. Not Hasbro Pulse, by Hasbro. And they shipped it to the wrong address. I don't know how I got it. They didn't ask for me. They didn't ask for my address. They just shipped it. It is the replacement parts for Unicron.
That is
Nice.
awesome.
2 years later, or a year later. No, 2 years. 2 years later. Yeah. So, year and a half later.
I am really impressed they still had those.
Yeah, me too.
Just because sometimes it seems like retail toys that recent they can't get replacement parts for. So
And it's clearly not taken off like, Mark or Evans Unicrons from their personal collection, so it wasn't stolen, something like that. So I'm good with it.
Given the bag it's in, it's kind of looks like that the problem you had was maybe something. Maybe not widespread, but frequent enough that they had this like on hand and ready.
Diecast, were these parts in a bag originally, or were they?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just
Okay.
Yeah, this is just from the like it was just pulled out of a Unicron that was sitting there. They probably have some that they part out.
Which
So,
makes
that's
me
fair.
hopeful for
Star Saber.
Starsaber if there are any defects that maybe they will do parts, because on most retail products they don't, but maybe they are doing that on HasLabs just because of the rarity in nature.
I feel like I don't know about rarity, but I feel like as far as HasLabs goes, as an entity overall, like customer satisfaction is going to need to be like a very high priority for it to keep going.
Yeah.
So maybe they had that in mind, maybe they didn't. But I'm just glad you got your parts. And yeah, like Diecast said, it's hopefully if anybody does have like a serious problem with their Victory Saber, they'll be able to get it taken care of.
If you're watching video, you see Unicron right here above my shoulder, still untransformed. I'm going to try to change that this year. In 2022, I'm going to try to change that. Not this week, not this month, but hopefully over the next month and a half. Hey, real quick, while we're here, tfradio.net/Amazon hey, with the holidays coming up, you need to buy stuff. Just use our Amazon link, tfradio.net/Amazon. Doesn't cost you a cent more. But Amazon slices off just a little bit and sends it our way.
Very little bit.
Very, very little bit. tfradio.net/Amazon. Especially with Black Friday coming up, that would be awesome. And, of course, our Patreon at patreon.com/tfradio. There's a lot of great reasons to be a patron. At any tier, if you're a patron, you get an ad-free version of the show, except for that Amazon plug I just had. But, like, we have some pre-scroll or pre-roll ads and some post-roll ads sometimes. If you're on Patreon, you don't get that at all. If you're a member at the Touch tier, you get to be on History on the Fives with Rob. Plus, you get your name mentioned each week on the show, and I'm going to do that here in a second. But you can go to patreon.com/tfradio to sign up. Plus, we have, like, exclusive podcast stuff. We post our pre-show as a podcast. It's fun. And you have access to a special Discord chat on our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord, which I haven't even mentioned yet this week. And, in fact, our Discord exists due to our Patreon. That was a goal when we created our Patreon. If we got to a certain level, we would create a Discord. And it's actually been one of the best things we've ever done. We love our Discord. We have a great group of people. Up until like a couple days ago, I was in there like all day, every day, but like work has been kicking my butt. So I had to peel back a little bit. But Chris is in there usually. A lot of times John's in there. You'll see Don, Rob. We're all in there from time to time. Some of us more than others. But we have a great group of people that are, it's actually probably the Discord that's the most active of all the Discords that I look at, that I'm in. I'm really impressed with it. tfradio.net/Discord. But, of course, we want to thank our patrons at the Touch tier. And here we go. Kevin Dorsey, Ryan Bona, Emmett Stresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, Joey Russell, Jay Klein Rye, Sean Hamilton, Jacob Owen Lucia, Sean Bratton. Did I mention Ness? I think I did.
Yes, you did.
I did. Well, Ness got mentioned twice. He's so nice, we mentioned him twice. Boomer, Sean Bratton, Spider Bob, Tyrell Gwynn, Rick Mahurin, Blake Reynolds, Jason Tate, Eric Griffin, Sean I. Williamson, and AJ. Thank you all so much. You guys rock. We love you. We really do. Let's see here. Chris is not here this week, but you can find Chris at playwithphotography.com. He's at patreon.com/playwithphotos. And he has an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist. Matt's not here, but he is on Twitter at Melvar, 3 L's, 2 R's. MELLLVA. Actually, no, he doesn't want that mentioned. Never mind. Matt doesn't like his Twitter being plugged. Sorry. I'm not going to edit that out. I follow Matt because I actually created his account. I might just start creating random accounts for people. Diecast, you want a second Twitter?
No.
Don, you want a second Twitter?
Nah, that's just more to keep up with when everything catches on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I'm so tired right now. I did not sleep last night. Kids, they've just not wanted to go to bed. Or they'll go to bed. They just won't stay in bed. So I'll be in bed. It'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning and I'll hear, and I'll go put them back to bed. 20 minutes later.
Can't sleep.
Yeah, I can't sleep. Kids are rough, guys. Okay. But John DeLuna not here. He is at that John D everywhere. Rob Springer not here. He is at Robo Rob Springer on Twitter and at zonebase.org. And today we posted the Thanksgiving version of the Zone Base podcast, Transformers Squadron. So you can check that out at tfradio.net. I am personally on Twitter at bkilby and on Instagram at Brian Kilby. And if you go to briankilby.com, that's where I post a lot of my other stuff. I've been posting a lot of Happy Daily content lately, including a video today think I did a video yesterday, but I've done several podcasts lately. And I'm working on my Christmas album. And I need to have it done in like the next 2 weeks, which means I have a lot left to do. But you can access that at briankilby.com. Rob, how do people get a hold of you?
Okay, well, I'm on Twitter at Rob Flails, which is the Twitter for Flail Throughs, my YouTube gaming channel. Right now, it's just Gundam Battle Operation 2, which is the free-to-play Gundam shooter for PS4 and 5, and eventually PC. This last week was a relatively obscure mobile suit, the Gym Sniper 3, and it's fun to use. I've got a video up with it that went live on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. If you like what you see over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs, you can pledge a couple of bucks a month and I'll do requests for within the game. Eventually, when I can get my spine back in working order, there will be other games there as well, but parent stuff, so I've been busy. But I also do have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/claylist that needs updated badly. But same as the other wish lists, it will kick a little bit back to the show if you decide to throw any objects in my direction.
Sweet. Don.
I'm reached on Twitter, forever how long that lasts, at HMRC, the number 4 EVR.
And on our Twitters this weekend, Don and I will be attending a convention together, so hopefully we'll have some photos that we can share. Not of us, of crap we see. Maybe of us, I don't know. Diecast.
You can follow me on Twitter at Diecast2. You can like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast, and you can see my reviews at youtube.com/RFC Reviews.
Cool. Hey, we made it over an hour.
Yay.
We really did.
Nice.
Yeah, didn't think we would. At like 40 minutes, I'm like, oh, this could be a 45-minute show. I can go to bed. Now I can go to bed. We'll see you next week. Me so sleepy.
Recording stopped.
Me too.
Right as we got into that Earthrise conversation, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to fall asleep.
Luckily, I did my nodding off earlier because I've been up since like 9 in the morning, so which for me is early. So, and I've got to be up a good couple more hours because tonight's One Gundam updates. So I got a bunch of stuff to do.
Cool. Okay, well, let's all hop off. People watching live, we'll see you next week. We love you. Bye, YouTube.
See you,
Nap time.
everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.